Hello, this is Yaro Starak, and welcome to a special EJ Insider presentation of how to build your blog business in just 1 hour a day. This is a productivity tutorial to help you get the most out of whatever amount of time you have available to work in your business. I believe everyone can find at least 1 hour each day to work on their blog business, whether you do that first thing in the morning before your day starts, maybe on your lunch break, or perhaps towards the end of the day before you go to bed. You can find time. The problem for most people is hard to find a lot of time. It's not realistic for you to spend perhaps 4 hours or 5 hours or even 2 hours sometimes on your blog business. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is give you some techniques in order to get the most from a small amount of time, to make sure you're getting the most out of whatever time available you have to work on your blog business. So why is this important? Well, obviously the first thing is you don't have time to waste time. You want to get to a result as fast as you can because you want your blog business to make money as soon as possible. That's everyone's goal. We all want to make money with our blogs. We all want that to happen as soon as possible. So productivity is a huge part of making this possible. Now, what I'm going to teach you in this tutorial is basically a simple concept, a simple technique that leads to what I call a master to-do list. I've used this same format of a to-do list since I started building online businesses. It's over 15 years now. Now, the format of a to-do list that I use is like your standard to-do list, just a list of dot points or numbered points of things I need to do. What's important though is not the format of this to-do list, it's actually what gets included, and even more importantly, what is not included in this to-do list. That is a very important key. So what I'm going to teach you in this tutorial is how to go through a step-by-step elimination process in order to take out things from your to-do list and make sure you're only left with the most important tasks. That is key to making this work, and I'm going to give you the steps to do that in this tutorial. At the end of this tutorial, it's going to be time for you to take action. You're going to go away, you're going to apply this process to your own life, your own situation, wherever you are at with your blog business, and then you're going to come up with a master to-do list, which you're then going to apply and take massive action with in the days and weeks, months that follow. You might adjust things going on, but the important point is you will have a list and you will action it to start getting real results with your blog business. It's a fact of life that we cannot create time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day to work with, and some people seem to do a lot more with that time than others. Now, the reason why that is, the people who don't get much done are doing the wrong tasks. Your primary goal as a result of doing this tutorial is to stop doing what doesn't work. That will make sure you're left with activities that do work for your given goal. So we're really going to focus on elimination, on stopping the activities that waste your time. Now, we can't make time. However, there's certain things we can do to make sure we are making smart decisions and getting the result we want from the time that we have. The first step in this process is to identify the primary tasks. That's what you should do. So there's a very small set of tasks that are primary importance to your goal. And you have to identify what they are, and that's what's going to go on your to-do list, your personal to-do list. Now, you can't personally create time, but you can buy time from other people. This is where you can hire outsourcers and contractors, even hire employees to do jobs for you. This is what other people will do for you and your business. So you're not creating new time, but you're buying time from other people's lives, which does allow you, in a sense, to create more time, at least for your business. So it's really just these two things that can help maximize the productivity you have. If you make sure in the amount of time you have, even if it's very small, like 1 hour a day, you're focused on your primary tasks, that means you've got the right focus, and then you can leverage other people's time to do things for you in order to grow your business and effectively get more hours in a day as it relates to your business's growth. So what I'm going to do now is take you through a 5-step process to complete this objective, to make sure you're really narrowing in on the primary task for you. So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what tasks lead to the desired result you're looking for with your blog business? Now, towards the end of this tutorial, I'm going to break this down a bit more as it relates to a blogging business. But right now, I'd like you to think about, do you know what tasks you should do that will get your result? Do you even know what your desired result is? You need to turn your desired result into specific and tangible outcomes that you want for your business. If you don't have that clarity about what you're striving for, you won't have clarity about what your primary tasks are because you won't know the outcome. You don't know the steps to take if you don't know where you're going. So you have to figure out what your desired result is on a big vision macro level and all the way down to a small micro, what's my desired result for the end of today, for the end of this 1 hour of work I'm doing. So that's step one. Step two is to identify tasks that get in the way of you doing those primary tasks. These are what I call distraction tasks. So this is important because these are the things you need to eliminate primarily through the help of other people. But first of all, you have to identify what are these tasks. So you're starting with step one in what you should do. In step two, you're identifying what you are doing that might still be important to your business. Don't get me wrong, distraction tasks are not necessarily bad things to do for your business. They might be necessary, they might be required on some level, but they're things that distract you from the most important tasks. If you spend all your time on distraction tasks, you won't actually get to your desired goal because they don't link directly to a speedy result or possibly any result given what your goal is. It's these distraction tasks you have to identify clearly because in step three, you're then going to outsource these tasks to other people. And in fact, you're going to come up with a priority of outsourcing. So what is the distraction task that I need to eliminate first? What's the most important task that is keeping me away from my important tasks that I should give to another person to do? There's a lot of identifying of things here and prioritizing of things. That really is a key principle behind coming up with a master to-do list. So here in step three, just to remind you, you're having a list of things that you should not personally be doing but might still be required for your business. We call them distraction tasks, and then you're going to find people to do them for you, but you're also going to have to find out what order you hire those people in. Because let's face it, if you only have an hour a day, you can't spend that hour hiring 3 different people. You need to figure out what is the primary distraction task, hire someone to do that task. That will then give you space for your personal primary task. Then step 4, you can order your own primary tasks. So what you're doing. This is when you're basically coming up with the activities that you're going to do. This is of course after you've already outsourced all the distraction tasks. Now bear in mind, your first set of priority tasks may be to hire people to eliminate distraction tasks from you. For example, if you're getting bogged down in setting up the technical aspect of a blog, or an email list, or a landing page, or a sales page. Those, while being important tasks, are probably not the most important tasks for you to be doing because you're not a technical person. Maybe you write the words for them, you write the content, but you shouldn't be going and setting up a server. You shouldn't be the person perhaps configuring plugins, doing all this technical software usage. So if that's what you're doing now, that's a distraction task that's keeping you away from your primary tasks. So what you would put on your list of primary tasks is, I need to hire a technical person to eliminate this distraction task. That actually becomes your first primary task. But once you've done all the distraction tasks and removed them from your plate, you're left with what is important. And a lot of times for a blogger and a content creator, it is the act of creating content for marketing purposes, for creating products, for creating blog posts, for creating emails. Those are the jobs you should be doing. Other jobs, the distraction tasks, whether it's bookkeeping or technical setup, or perhaps even copywriting for sales pages, whatever it is, video editing, podcast editing, all those things are distraction tasks that should be outsourced to other people as soon as you can, of course. And that's why we're prioritizing things. We're trying to get what's important today. Step 5, the final step in this process, is to create a master to-do list. This is a list of activities that you're going to work through whenever you have the time to do so. It might be 1 hour a day, so you only do one task a day. That's fine, but you'll know you're doing the most important tasks that move you towards the outcome you want, which ultimately is making money from your blog business. Now, everyone's to-do list will look different depending on what phase you're at. This is where things can become difficult because there's a problem you have. In particular, if you're very new to this, this is why you'll always feel very confused. In fact, you're probably feeling somewhat confused even now after watching so far this tutorial, because you're thinking, well, I don't actually know what are the right tasks for me to do yet. Yes, I might be able to identify some of the distraction tasks that maybe aren't that important, but how do I know which are the most important tasks? The problem here is you don't know what you don't know yet. You're not aware of what are the things you need to do, so you don't know what to put on the master task to-do list. So how do we solve this problem? Well, you have to understand the system. This is why you go through a training program, or in fact, why you are a member of the EJ Insider. The EJ Insider is the perfect place for you to enter the community and ask a question and say, hi, do you think this activity I'm working on now is my primary task? Should I be focused on this given the stage I'm at with my business? And then you explain what stage you're at. That's why you join a community, because in the community are people like myself and other people who are more advanced than you, and they understand the system because they've worked further, they've done more. The other thing, of course, you can do is take a course. You can take something like my Blog Mastermind training or some of my other courses, because they'll teach you the system and give you the steps to work through. What those courses will do will give you all of the pieces of the puzzle to complete the system. So if you don't know all the pieces of the puzzle, then that's your first goal of anything. You have to create the awareness to know what the most important tasks are. So after watching this video, if you're not sure, make use of the EJ Insider. The fact that you're watching this video means you have the possibility of asking this question: what do you think my primary tasks should be at this stage of my blog business? Now, once you know what the pieces of the puzzle are, you then have to assemble the quickest way to complete the puzzle. So you're looking for the minimal viable pathway to put together an outcome. And that becomes a lot easier when you understand the system, because you can see all the pieces of the puzzle and discard the pieces that don't matter. All you need are the ones that get the outcome you like. And then lastly, you decide, what do you actually focus on now, today? And this is even more ignoring. Not only are you ignoring the pieces of the puzzle that don't get you a result quickly, you're ignoring everything but the one piece of the puzzle that needs to be completed today. And that's how you get your priority task for 1 hour each day, what to do today. So let's break down what the system is roughly. I can't obviously spend too much time. It would take an entire course like Blog Mastermind to teach you the whole system that we follow, but we certainly can do an overview of the system you're following to build your blog business. First of all, you've got your niche, the topic you choose, the problem you're aiming to help people to solve, and the emotions behind why a person wants to solve that problem, and also what your solution is to that problem. Then you've got an offer, which is simply a product or a service or a collection of products and services that say, buy this from me and I'll help you to solve this problem. It's an offer to provide a solution to that niche that you exist in, your business exists in. Then you've got your blog, which is straightforward, your email list, and some kind of marketing to build up some traffic, to push people through the blog and the email list, to show them the offer, to help people solve that problem. So that's a macro overview of the system that has lots of pieces. Those are the 5 core pieces of the puzzle. But if you look at each individual piece of the puzzle, there's a lot of components to make one part of that work. So what we're going to do now is narrow in on one part of that big picture puzzle, the blog aspect. So let's assume you already have a topic, and let's assume you already have an offer. We're looking at the blog now. So you've reached the point in building your business where you go, I need to create a blog. So you're looking at the tasks involved in the creation of this blog. So you need a domain name, You need hosting, you need WordPress software, you need a nice theme for your blog, and some kind of email opt-in box. There's obviously other things as well, but I just highlighted some possible key components of the blog in order to create a successful blog. So those things all could be tasks that need to be completed in order to create the blog piece of the puzzle, so to speak. Now what you can do is actually narrow in even further. So we can take the blog and then we can choose the domain name and look at all the different elements that we need to consider when it comes to solving the task of choosing a domain name. So if you decide at this point in time your domain name is the most important task, it's a primary task given your state of your business, then you will do a task that involves brainstorming to come up with a domain name that has alliteration, maybe some cadence or rhyme or rhythm, possibly a good keyword in there. Decide if it's going to be a .com or .net or .org. Maybe hire a broker to go buy a domain name that you found that you like but someone else already owns. There's all kinds of possibilities. But you can see how I've narrowed down from the big piece of the puzzle to one aspect of it, to another aspect of it, and then the parts that go into that. And the good thing about this is if I decided that my primary task is a domain name, I'd ignore everything else. I wouldn't worry about hosting. I wouldn't worry about plugins or themes or anything else to do with the blog. I certainly wouldn't look at things like my email list or getting traffic yet, because they're further down. I'm not ready for those phases. So I'm at the phase where what's important is the domain name. So that's my primary task. Everything else gets ignored. What I might do is look at what tasks could be handled by other people. For example, setting up WordPress is a task that I could assign someone else to do. So I might put that on my primary task, hire a tech person or assign that task to my tech person to set up my WordPress for me while I'm spending my time brainstorming domain names. And that's freeing because it allows you to get focus on only what matters for you today in the 1 hour you've got available. But you have to narrow in and you have to know your objective and you have to understand the system. So I've painted a picture of the system we're following. Narrowing in and ignoring is key to coming up with a master to-do list that you can follow that has the right tasks. You narrow in on what's important today and ignore everything else based on the system that you're following. Just a quick summary, I've already kind of covered this, but to point out, having had the experience of running a blog business myself for many years, and also seeing what advanced, established, money-making blog businesses look like, I know quite clearly, eventually, what the primary tasks of the founder lead to, what they end up spending most of their time on. They clear away all the other activities in order to create content for marketing purposes, for blog posts, for email sequences, for products, and of course the sales pages to sell those products. So I personally spend most of my time today, a lot of my primary tasks relate to creating content to get me more traffic through marketing, to create blog posts, podcasts, videos, to write emails for my sequences, to create products. I'm doing that right now. I'm creating a video that's a product for you guys, and create copy and basically work with someone to get my sales pages up to sell those products. The thing is, you have to reach a point where these things become your primary importance. This is kind of like the ultimate goal. If you can get to the stage where your focus is just being creative and exploring these aspects, then you're really in a great stage. Right now, you are probably at a stage where you need to spend your time researching your target market, or setting up the basics, or hiring your first technical person. You're at the beginning of the system that you're following. So all of your primary tasks relate to the stage you're at, and that's why you should go through this process, keeping in mind your situation today, not other people's. Don't compare yourself at what matters to you, what you're trying to do at the moment. We've reached the end of this tutorial on coming up with your master to-do list, so you can identify what are the most important tasks to do in the hour or so each day you've got to work on your business. Hopefully you're feeling some level of clarity. At least you have a next step to help you come up with a master to-do list, and you can see why it's so important to prioritize, narrow in, and ignore activities and understand the big picture, the system you're working towards. Now, if you're not familiar with the big picture system, then as I said earlier, make use of the EJ Insider community. If you do want more specific training from me, then the two products I recommend you investigate are my Master Your Mindset e-guide. This is one of my entry-level training resources that focuses in particular on productivity concepts. I go into more detail on things like the 80-20 rule, the theory of constraints, energy management, lean product development, all the things I've applied and learned from other experts when it comes to being productive with the blog business, and also how to think right so you can actually succeed with your business. And of course, Blog Mastermind, which is my flagship training. You may already be in that program, and that will give you the A to Z guide of setting up the blog sales funnel. So you'll have the complete picture of the system we build with our blog businesses. So you can go to ejinsider.com for both these products, or go to blogmastermind.com to go straight to Blog Mastermind. I hope you got a lot from this. If you do have any questions, you know what to do. Ask in the EJ Insider. And that's it from me. My name is Yaros Starak, and I'll talk to you on the next tutorial. Bye-bye.